Within the Cleft of Shadows in Orgrimmar, the instance Ragefire Chasm can be found. This cave is a hideout for agents of the Burning Blade. Inside, you will find both orc followers, a few demons, as well as trogs and worms. The lava lies exposed to you, forming small lakes of molten stone. The air is hot and full of cinders. The walls are sharp, and fang-like stones perpetrate from the cave's ceiling and floor. When will you adventure there? To start off, around 13 is a decent level to start looking for a group. I usually look for a group at 14, as people have gotten new spells and ranks at that level. Before you go inside, you probably want to gather up all the quests for the instance. Mostly they reward some silver and experience, which is not to look down upon, but some also reward gear. The longest chain related to the dungeon will reward players with a nice green weapon in the end. There are 2 quests in Thunderbluff. On the Elder's Rise, Roharo offers the quest Searching for the Lost Satchel, as well as the quest Testing an Enemy's Strength. In the Undercity, down in the throne room close to Sylvanas, Varimathras offers the quest The Power to Destroy. And finally, inside Orgrimmar in the Cleft of Shadows, right outside the instance, Neru Fireblade offers the quest Slaying the Beast. As there are quests in each capital, most players of that faction should have picked them up. All of these I've mentioned are shareable, so if you manage to get a party with a Tauren and an undead, you should be fine. Make sure to ask them if they have the quests, just to be safe however. I mentioned a quest chain, but so far haven't talked about any. The chain starts at Thrall inside Orgrimmar. It gives you the quest Hidden Enemies and asks you to collect a lieutenant's insignia from the Burning Blade. In order to find this insignia, you have to head out of the main gate of Orgrimmar and travel east towards and past the Zeppelin Tower. Soon you will come to a cave where Burning Blade agents reside. Slay them until they eventually drop the insignia. You should either do it alone before finding your group, or have the whole group do this together. You want to do this chain, as it will eventually reward you with a nice green quality weapon. After you've found the insignia, return to Thrall. He will ask you to talk to Neru Fireblade, who turns out to be working with the Burning Blade as well. Thrall tells you not to confront him about that however, but you use that to your advantage. After talking to Neru, you head back to Thrall. He will now give you the next part of the quest Hidden Enemies, where you need to venture inside Ragefire Chasm. Note that there is a small part of the chain which you do after the dungeon as well. You have now gathered all the quests for the dungeon. The Hidden Enemy quest line has a total of 4 turn-ins, the Lost Satchel has 2, and all other quests 1. So in total, you will have 9 quest turn-ins. This will add up to 9,145 experience. You will also receive 23 silver from quests and get to choose from a number of green items. It is now time to head inside the dungeon, located inside the Cleft of Shadows and hence very easily accessible for Horde players, but impossible for Alliance unless you bother doing corpse run until your gear is completely broken. Inside you will face these mobs, Earth Borers, just coming inside and briefly in the middle of the dungeon. They can cast Earth Borer Acid, which reduces the target's armor, stacking 5 times. If the tank gets too many, you might want to wait until they've worn off. Right in the beginning, and a bunch later on, just after the middle section, comes these Molten Elementals. They are immune to certain schools of magic and have a fire shield, damaging nearby players for a tiny amount of damage every couple of seconds. Trogs will come in abundance. There are melee trogs and shamans. The shamans are ranged and cast Lightning Bolt. They can also cast Healing Wave. Closing in towards the end, you will find the Searing Blade agents. The cultists can cast Curse of Agony, but does most of the damage via melee attacks. Enforcers can cast Shield Slam, knocking a target to the ground. The Warlock casts Shadow Bolts and have Voidwalkers with them. After entering the dungeon, you'll quickly turn right, fighting your way forward into a larger room where you'll find the Trogs. You need to kill 8 Shamans and 8 Trogs for the Thunderbluff quest, testing the enemy's strength. Notice that you will often be 1 Shaman short once you've cleared a path through the Trog section. You might have to turn left and find 1 more Shaman. Usually, that goes very quick. After clearing through part of the Trogs area, the road splits in 3. You want to take the very first turn on the right, where the path descends slightly. Keep fighting your way until you reach a platform with a room to the left. Inside there, you will find Ogleflint, the Trog chieftain, which sadly doesn't drop anything special, and the dead NPC for the quest, searching for the satchel. Turn it in, and pick up the next part of the chain, returning the lost satchel. Then walk back from where you came. Back at the cross section, take the right path which ascends somewhat. You'll make your way to a room filled with mountain elementals. In here, you will find a path breaking off to the right along the wall. There is nothing related to quests nor any bosses up there, and it's not a shortcut. Eventually, you come to a small lava lake with minor islands connected to each other. Here, the Searing Blade agents reside. Clear either the left or the right and make your way to the metal platform where the first boss awaits. Taragman the Hungerer drops 3 green items: the Cursed Fellblade, the Crystalline Cuffs, and the Subterranean Cape. He also drops his heart for the quest Slaying the Beast. Standing on the metal platform, facing further in towards the uncleared part of the dungeon, you can yet again clear the left path or the right. Here, you should take the right path. Hardly visible lies an elevating path going up along the cave's wall furthest to the right. Clearing that all the way up will take you to the Satire Basalan, which you need for the quest Hidden Enemies. Looking down from the edge, you will see Jurgosh the Invoker, the second boss of the dungeon, with his 2 adds. Now comes a trick that might work on classic realms. If you attack Jurgosh with a ranged ability, he might only pull his 2 adds and run up along a ledge to you. This saves you some time. Jurgosh drops the Cave Dweller Bracers, the Robe of Evocation, and the Dagger Chanting Blade. He is the second and final objective of the quest Hidden Enemies. And once you've done this, you've completed all quests and killed all bosses. Now it's time to run out. Once outside, you'll have Nero waiting for you with a question mark over his head. Head over to Thrall to turn in this stage of the chain Hidden Enemies. He will send you back to Nero once more. And then finally, after visiting Nero this last time, you can run back to Thrall to turn in the last part of the chain and choose between 1 of 4 weapons: the Kriss of Orgrimmar, the Hammer of Orgrimmar, the Axe of Orgrimmar, or the Staff of Orgrimmar. You now have 2 quests to turn in Thunderbluff and 1 in Undercity. If you have leveled in the Barrens, I'd recommend heading over to Silverpine to do some quests there, giving you a chance to turn in the Power to Destroy. As for the Thunderbluff quests, make sure to turn those in together with the quest Apothecary Sama, which you get from the Crossroads. This quest asks you to do a delivery to Thunderbluff. With that, I'll end the first episode of my dungeon series. In this series, I'll talk about how you should prepare for each dungeon. Dungeons are fun and often filled with very useful loot. As you start approaching the recommended level for a dungeon, you should start preparing by getting all the quests and items you might need. Sometime, this takes you on a small journey across the world and makes the whole experience more immersive and exciting. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you have any tips on how you think I could improve my videos, please leave them in a comment below. Thanks for watching.